Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Saman here, your grammar teacher. Today we are going to study past continuous tense, and in this video we are going to study what is the use of past, when we have to use past continuous tense, and what are the positive sentences of past continuous tense. So let's start with it. Okay, on the screen you can see that this is a timeline. From this flow chart you can understand the concept of using past continuous tense very easily. This is the timeline in which time is mentioned: past, present and future. You already know that the past is when the actions are finished, that is yesterday. Present is today, what is going on right now, and future is that what will come next, that is future. Okay, now what is past continuous? We use past continuous tense as the word is telling you that the action has happened in the past. Now the action has started in the past and it goes on for some period of time in the past, and it finished just before, or you can say it finished before the present time. Then we use past continuous tense. It means that here you can see the red arrow. From here, from the starting point till the ending point before the present time, the action has taken place in between this frame. So what is past continuous? Past continuous tense is used when we show that some action is performed in the past. It continued from for some period of time in the past. Okay, it started in the past, it is finished in the past, and it continued for some time in the past. So then we use past continuous tense. Let's see an example. For example, I was learning English for 2 hours yesterday. Yesterday means the previous day. It means that at this hour, at this time, I was learning. I was in the middle of the action of learning. So it means that this action is performed during a period of time of 4 hours. So I was learning English for 2 hours yesterday. This is an example of past continuous tense. Okay, let's start with the structure. What is the structure of a sentence? You already know that basic structure of a sentence is subject, verb and object. And for past continuous tense we also use helping verb. So first comes subject. Subject is a person who does work. Then comes helping verb, and in past continuous tense we have two helping verbs, was and were. Then we are having verb with ing. It means present participle. We always use ing with was and were. Okay, with the verb we have to use ing when we are using was and were. And then the last is object. Object is on which the work is done. Here in past tense, in past continuous tense, this helping verb is basically the form of be, and in past continuous tense we use was and were. The past form of be is was and were, and with the verb we have to use ing. Like here you can see the example: he was reading. He is a subject, was is the helping verb, and reading is the main verb, action verb, and we have used ing with it. So this is the basic formula for writing the structure of past continuous tense. And here you can see that when we have to use when we have to use was and were. If you are having a singular subject like he, she, it, and I also. I, in some of the cases, I is considered plural. Okay, and all the rules of plural are followed. But in past continuous tense, you will consider I as singular subject. Okay, so when you are having I, he, she, it, then you will use was. And when you are having you, we, and they, or any plural subject, then you will use were. And with the verb you have to use ing. For example, I was singing, he was playing, she was reading, it was going. You were singing, we were playing, they were writing, they were going. Any, you can make any sentence, but the structure will be like this: that with singular subject we will use was, and with plural subjects we will use were, and with the addition of ing with the verb. So this is the basic structure how you can write past continuous tense. Okay, see the use. We use past continuous tense to say that somebody was in the middle of doing something at a certain moment in the past. So it means that the action has happened in the past and it continued for some period of time in the past, and then it is finished before present. Okay, it is not continued now, it is finished. So then we use past continuous tense. There are some examples you can see. Anna was reading a book at this time yesterday afternoon. It means that the previous day Anna was reading for some period of time. She was reading that book in the afternoon, so that action continued for some period of time. That's why we have used was reading. Okay, another example, we were singing. Time is not mentioned, but you can see the structure. With we have used were, and with verb, we have used ing. We were singing. Okay, now there are some other use of past continuous tense. Here you can see continuing during period. For example, he was working all day. It means that he was working. The action is continued for some period of time in the past. This is what I told you. That is, this is a use of past continuous tense. He was working all day. All day. This is an example. Now, second condition is continuing during moment. At 11 p.m. I was sleeping. Okay, so you were in the middle of your sleep, so that's why you have used I was sleeping. So this is continue, the action is continued during the moment. Then the third use is continuing when interrupted. For example, they were having lunch when we arrived. Basically, when the two actions are performed, then for the first action in which the action which goes on for some period of time, you will use past continuous tense, and for the other action you will use simple past tense, like they were having lunch. Okay, they were in the middle of the action. That's why you have used past continuous tense. When we arrived, here we have used past simple. So when the two actions are there, you have to see that which action is taking place first. Okay, and the action which is continued for some period of time, for that you will use past continuous tense. Then the next is planned action. I was planning to visit my friend, but I didn't get time. Here again, you can see that first I have used past continuous, and then in the second one, second phrase, I have used past tense. I didn't get time. So when you planned an action, then you use past continuous tense. Okay, and the last one is polite request. When you do a polite request, like I was wondering if we could help me, if you could help me. Now this action is taken place in the past. Okay, it's a polite request that has taken place in the past. That's why we have used could. Could is a second form of can. When you talk about the past actions, then you will not use can, you will use could. Okay, and for the future you will use would. So I was wondering if you could help me. Okay, another very important thing, you already know that verbs, what are verbs? We have studied that verbs are action verbs, but action words, but verbs, there are two types of verbs: action verbs and stative verbs. Action verbs, you already know that in which there is some action, like work, study, sit, stand, swim. These all are action verbs. Now what are stative verbs? Stative verbs are the verbs which tells you about the state. It can be your emotional state, it can be your mental state. Okay, it's a state or a condition. So these verbs are called stative verbs. And one thing that you have to keep in your mind, that we do not use past continuous tense with the stative verbs. For example, I was knowing him for many years. Now, this sentence is wrong. You cannot say that, because know is a stative verb. It's a condition or a state of your mind. Okay, so you cannot use a past continuous tense. I was knowing him for many years. Instead, you should say that I knew him for many years. You will use past tense, not past continuous tense. So you keep this thing in your mind, that with stative verbs, you are not supposed to use past continuous tense. Okay, second is Jane was hating spiders. This is also wrong, because hate is also an emotional state. So you are not going to use past continuous tense. It should be like Jane hated spiders. Okay, past tense you can use. Was hating is wrong. They were owning a big house. This is also a wrong statement, because owning is something state. Okay, it's a condition or a state, so you cannot use a past continuous tense. It should be they owned a big house. Then we were wanting to call you. This is also a wrong statement. It should be that we wanted to call you, not were wanting. Were wanting, want is also a state or a condition. So you will not use past continuous tense. She was needing to catch her flight. This is also wrong because need is also something, a state or condition. So it should be she needed to catch her flight. So this is the difference between action verbs and stative verbs, that with action verbs you can use past continuous tense, but with stative verbs we do not use past continuous tense. Okay, here is one exercise. Solve this exercise by yourself and then check the answers from the next slide. Fill in the blanks with was and were and the verb given in the brackets. The monkey dashed the tiger. Now here in bracket it is tease. Okay. You know that which verb, which form of verb, which helping verb, and which form of verb you are going to use over here. You have to make them into past continuous tense. The boy dash in the class work. You dash happy yesterday feel. I dash my teeth brush. The school girls dash the road cross. They dash for a picnic go. Okay, now let's check the answer. The monkey was teasing the tiger. Instead of tease, we have used ing with the verb, and monkey is singular, so we have used was. The monkey was teasing the tiger. The boy was working in the class. Instead of work, it will be working, and the boy is singular, so we have to use was. The boy was working. You were feeling happy yesterday. You have to use were, and with feel you add ing. You were feeling happy yesterday. I was brushing my teeth. The school girls were crossing the road. Girls, it means the subject is plural, so we have used were here. They were going for a picnic. They were going for a picnic. So here the concept is clear to you now. It must be clear to you now that with singular subjects you have to use was, and with plural subjects you have to use were. So that's all for today's class, and this is the message of the day. Don't